wild time.
I was on a shoot once and had some time. We were shooting a little bit later in the day, right? So in production, typically we do about a 12-hour day. So we needed to shoot it.
We do a 12-hour day? I don't think we've ever done under a 17-hour day, but
right.
okay.
Well, this was a different kind of deal. Bunch of union guys grumbling. But so we were filming and we were starting later in the day because we needed to film at night. So I had time in the morning. I'm not a morning person, but we weren't starting till like 2 p.m. So I decided to go for a run. We were on the coast of this island off of Indonesia called Flores Island. And I decided to go for a chill little run on the beach, watching some waves. There's fucking nobody there. It's great. So I go for this run, and I'm coming back towards where we're staying, and I see this fucking huge sea turtle. And it's like kind of like maybe 10 feet off where the waves are breaking. And I'm looking at it, and it's moving weird, right? Like it's kind of like herking, jerking around. It almost looks like a little like marionette of this giant sea turtle. And so I'm like, what the fuck is that thing doing? And it's weird. Like when you're, we talk about like matrixing when you expect to see something, you might, but it was moving so strange. I was just like, I thought maybe it had broken its legs. So I kind of run up to it. I get within about 8 feet of it. And all of a sudden, this fucking lizard that is called a Komodo dragon just goes, pulls its head out of the abdomen with entrails coming out of its mouth and just looks up at me. They got big fucking scary teeth, completely covered in blood, the entire head with just stringy bits, like it had been tearing into like poor quality steak, and just looks at me, and I was just like, holy fuck, and just took off and just sprinted away as fast as I could with no knowledge of how fast this thing could run and whether it could catch me or would try to. It was bananas, but it had its head all the way up inside this fucking sea turtle, and I couldn't.
It was using that turtle like a sock puppet.
Yeah. Exactly.
It got you. That's funny, man. I didn't know that story. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was pretty bonkers.
That's why I don't. This is why I stay inside for most of the days. Cheers, mates.
Yeah, they're Komodo dragons. Probably, I'm not a favorite animal guy because I'm an adult, and once you reach about 12, you stop saying my favorite animal. But aside from like crocodiles,
aside from my favorite animal, I would say crocodile. I would say my other favorite animal.
Shut up, Peter. My favorite animal, singular, not group of animals, is probably the Komodo dragon. It was a huge, lifelong bucket list for me to go and see them. And I did it in 2011. Unbelievable creatures. I love those things. I think they're amazing.
And
well, I was just going to say, so like obviously the Komodo dragon, okay, I've wondered, you went to see them, like, do you have to be behind like a fence or something? Will they attack and kill you? They're like tame?
They're not neither. So Komodo dragons, they are predators, right? There's kind of an interesting story. We used to think that they had venom. Then we learned that there was just bacteria in their mouths that was so nasty that when they bit something, it would cause gangrene and infection and die. Then we learned that they have that and a little bit of venom. So our understanding has actually evolved of these creatures. But they're these huge monitor lizards. They live on a handful of islands in Indonesia, and they are predatory, right? They bite water buffalo and things like that, and then they follow them around and wait for them to die. But they're very slow moving, and they kind of just sit there and they're lethargic. Now, that being said, there are a couple interesting things. When I went there, there was no I went as a biologist. So I went there, I checked in at the ranger station, and the guy, I'm not joking, handed me a broom pole. And he was like, this is for you. And the idea is if they get close, you whack them with the broom pole. Swear to God. And I was like, cool, this is fine by me. And they couldn't have cared less about my presence. But there were a couple things. So first of all, I remember when I went, you weren't supposed to wear red, and I showed up in a red T-shirt, and then I had to go shirts optional all day because I didn't know you weren't supposed to wear red. And then women on their periods are not supposed to be there because they can, and that's how once they bite something, they smell for blood and they smell for, any kind of body fluid. So women on their periods are not supposed to go to the island during that time. So I found that really interesting. And then there is a really cool story. Patrick and I once wrote a show around it that didn't go forward, of these divers that washed up. They were out because there's a lot of diving in the area. It's one of the best diving areas in Indonesia. And there were some divers lost at sea. And they were like, oh, there's an island in the distance, right? And they're like, we'll swim over there and the boat will come get us in the morning. And they swum over to Komodo Island, Komodo proper, like the main island where all the dragons are. Had no idea it was Komodo, like shacked up on the beach. And sure enough, I don't remember exactly. Maybe you do, Patrick. It was one of them or both of them, but they definitely somebody got eaten by a Komodo dragon that night.
Wait, so they'll eat you like if essentially you're not a threat. Like if you were just sleeping, they come across you, they're hungry, it'll fuck you up and eat you. That's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, shit. No, exactly. And I mean, ultimately, if they wanted to, as a human, broomstick or not, there's nothing you could do to stop them. I mean, there really isn't. They're slow. You could maybe outrun them, but they're huge, powerful varanids. They're not.
Do they have teeth? Like, I mean, they obviously must have teeth. They have big ass fucking mouths with sharp teeth.
Big, nasty, recurved interlocking teeth. So they just go in, boom, and then release.
Oh shit! Hey, that's
look
a
at that
dinosaur.
thing, man. I mean,
this is prehistoric.
Exactly
animal
right.
Here.